Hello and welcome to Creating Your Desired Life with me, your host, Dr. Esther Graham. I am excited to have you join me for another, wonderful, awesome, extraordinary show that we have for you today. I am so excited and so honored to have an extraordinary guest who is truly, truly, truly transforming lives on a global scale through education and opportunity. I'm going to do my best to pronounce her name, Monica, but the last name. Now I'm going to have her pronounce her last name for you because I don't want to mess it up. But I passionately love to call her Queen Monica. Queen Monica. Queen because she's doing just so much. Monica is a passionate leader, social entrepreneur, and the co-founder of the Girl Up Initiative in Uganda. It's an organization that has made tremendous, tremendous impact in the lives of young girls and women. From leadership and development to sexual and reproductive health. And guys, you know right now, reproductive health is so big here in the U.S. But reproductive health education, Monica's work, or Queen Monica's work, is creating sustainable change for generations to come. She has been honored with prestigious fellowships and global recognition. I have to tell you, and I'll share that with you in a minute, global recognition for her work in empowering women and girls across Uganda and beyond. When I first saw Monica, the very first time I saw Monica, it was several years ago, a few years ago, on the Today Show during International Day of the Girl. And Jetta Bush and Michelle Obama was being interviewed on the Today Show, and they invited Monica to be a part, to talk about her Girl Up program. And I believe at that point, at that time, the program was still fairly, I want to say fairly new, and Monica can tell us if it's, how new it was at that point. But I remember my husband and I being very in tune. And because I am so passionate about girls and how they're doing and women overall, their health, their well-being, I just tuned in. It was International Day of the Girl. And I tuned in and I listened to her story. And she had a few girls with her that were interviewed as well. And I said, one day I'm going to meet her. And one day I'm going to be a part of what she's doing. And I just didn't, it was just a heart's desire. I just saw it. And guys, when something like falls in your spirit, like, this is something that's going to happen. And so I thought one day, so now let's fast forward several years later. Last year, or this year, in April, I believe it was, I was invited to a conference called Limitless Women by Laura Gisborne. And Monica was there. And Monica, making a very long story short, Monica got up to speak. And I sat and I was listening to her and I kept looking at her and I said, wow, she looks so familiar. And then I began to listen to her story and her talk about the Girl Up program. And I said, oh my gosh, this is the woman I saw several years back on the Today Show. And I took a picture. I took a picture of Monica on stage and I sent it to my husband. I said, guess who this is? Who is this? He looked and he looked and he looked. He said, that's the young lady we saw on the Today Show. I said, well, babe, she is here and I'm seeing her. And at that point, Monica and I sat, we had breakfast together, we talked a few minutes, and we just connected. I am so honored. I am so honored to meet Monica. I was so honored to have this powerful conversation with her. Monica, I was so inspired by her powerful journey and her relentless pursuit just to break down the barriers to educate girls and young women. And then of course, as we talk, what she's doing in early childhood, because she even went a step further to where she said there's so many girls, so many moms that have children and they need to work to support their family, but they have nowhere to take their children. And so Monica, I'm going to just share this briefly, created, ask her mom to use her own home to create an early childhood center so people can bring their children there. And by the way, this is all done with her own, with her time, her money, the sacrifices that's done. It's not, it's in Uganda. So there isn't a system to where, oh, they could get services, they could find ways to pay for childcare. No, this has to be something that you're called to do to help others. And so I'm super excited to introduce even more to the world. She's already very well known, and we're going to share how you can connect to her more and how you can donate to what she's doing. Because let me tell you, this is giving, and this is giving back at the highest level. So I'm excited to share with you and to have an insightful conversation about the Girl Up program, about how what Monica is doing is transforming lives through education and creating opportunities where opportunities was not there, opportunities for growth. So everyone, just welcome into Creating Your Desired Life, Monica. Come on in. Yay, come on. Come on in. Yeah. Yeah. So excited you're here, Monica. What a beautiful smile. What a beautiful smile. So the first thing I want to do is I want to be able to pronounce your name correctly. That's why I stopped. And so let's pronounce your last name so I could get it correct. I do not want to disrespect your name that was given to you at birth. So tell us your entire name.
Thank you, Esther. My name is Monica Nyiraguhabwa.
Nyiraguhabwa.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to make sure I commit Nyiraguhabwa, everyone. Want to make sure I get that correct because again, I want to make sure I honor you and your entire name. So super excited that you're here. And we're so honored to have you. So I want you to just begin to just share with us, because I am not doing it justice, exactly what you're doing in the Girls Up initiative in Uganda.
Thank you, Dr. Esther, and thank you for having me today. So excited to meet your audience, your fans. Yeah, so my journey really is a journey of resilience and a journey of, challenging stereotypes, negative gender stereotypes that have kept girls and women in the back door.
Yeah.
So really, it's a journey that I feel it's a calling. I believe it's God's calling, because if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have walked 11 years into this work.
Yeah.
I lead a team of about 33 young people born and raised in Uganda from these communities. And our job, our service to humanity is to be able to amplify the voices of girls and women. Having grown up in the same community firsthand and experiencing discrimination, harassment, violence as a girl, I realized that there was need to change the narrative. There was need to have an army, if we would call it, to have like a movement of like-minded individuals, but of the girls themselves being at the front line, say, enough is enough. There is need to put safe spaces for girls to be able to have genuine conversations.
Yes.
We need to create environments where, for example, schools acknowledge and appreciate that the competence of the girl is equally as great as the competence of the boy. How do we make sure that as educators engage with our children, they engage with them from a place of love, from a place of empathy, than from a place of discrimination, given that we come from, in Uganda, I come from a culture that is purely patriarchal, where the needs of girls and women are not priority to community. So Girl Up Initiative Uganda exists to be able to have this vibrant movement and be able to share information around gender transformative education for adolescent girls, education around sexual reproductive health and rights. And I know you've probably read in the statistics that Uganda has one of the highest cases of teenage pregnancies.
Yeah.
Again, if we do not have these conversations with our adolescents, then we are not doing so much. So how do you create safe spaces for girls to talk about these issues? And also, how do you make sure that you share age appropriate information around their sexual health? And again, just again, why Gallup exists is because we acknowledge that so many young mothers, so many women are out of employment, and of course, if they're out of employment, the chances of violence even propelling higher are high. So that's why we focus on providing them with opportunities in skilling for workforce development. Because we want to see young women take on jobs. We want to see young women being supported to transition to the workforce market. We want to see young women challenge predominantly male fields such as mechanics. So it's really been a program that I started out of love, but a program that I started out of challenging the narrative to an institution right now that is globally appreciated for the work that we are doing on the ground, amplifying the voices of girls and just building a movement where girls can thrive and lead.
Yeah. Yeah. So I believe you started Girls Up, in Uganda, which is GUIU. That's the acronym for it. So, in 2012, is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
In 2012. And of course, one of the things that you've said is that your vision is to ensure every girl in Uganda, as you've just said, it goes beyond and have access to quality education, opportunities for personal growth. And so talk to us a little bit, about what are some of the biggest challenges that you've encountered in bringing your vision forward, in making this vision a reality. And then how have you and your team overcome these challenges?
So when we started Gallup Initiative Uganda, there was literally no organization or very few organizations focused on putting girls at the front line. When I grew up, there were so many of women focused organizations, and so we're one of really the first ones in the field. And of course, as we began to engage girls in conversations around their self-esteem, their self-worth, their confidence, we saw these girls return to their families and be able to practice confidence. And confidence in my culture means when a parent is speaking to you, you look up to their eye and respond. And this is not something that our communities appreciate. This is something that communities think is being disrespectful. How can a girl look you into the eye and, respond? And so we had a bit of backlash from parents saying, who is teaching these girls this confidence? This is our culture. And so we learned that if we are to have a more sustainable model, we needed to bring parents into conversation.
Good.
We
So
needed
good.
to bring parents to understand why it's important for their girls to be confident. We needed to show them what is in for them when a girl is confident. When a girl's self-esteem is high, she's likely to perform better in class because she'll raise up her hand and ask a question. So taking the parent through appreciating, one, understanding what patriarchy means and how patriarchy manifests, but also how dismantling patriarchal practices could help improve the learning outcomes for their own children. And parents were like, you know what, we want to be part of this. So parents got into the program and now they're the champions of change. Because again, when you're engaging with children, parental consent and involvement is critical in the equation. So that's how we're able to manage that. Of course, we also had backlash from the boys who said, why not boys? Why not boys? But again, we've done this work from a point of learning. We've learned along the way. And so we acknowledge that it's important to bring boys into the equation if we are to have like positive masculinities even in the classroom. So the girls are definitely our priority, but we acknowledge that we need to work with boys as champions of gender equality. We need to work with parents because they're the first custodians of these children. We need to work with teachers because they are responsible for creating safe environments where both children, girls and boys, can thrive. So you can see the program rose from a dream of one girl to working with girls, working with boys, working with parents, working with teachers, and ultimately working with the entire community ecosystem where we involve religious and cultural leaders. Because we want to make sure that when a girl asserts her confidence, her parent is equally supportive. Her colleague, who is a boy, is equally supportive. The religious leader in the pulpit equally speaks language that is empowering for girls and women, and not speaking language that brings down women. So it's been a journey of education. It's been a journey of challenging negative stereotypes. It's been a journey of just listening and bringing everyone with us, and that's why we see the impact that we see today.
Yeah, that's so powerful because what you're really doing is affecting change in a culture, like cultural change. Especially when you said earlier, parents are wondering, how can she speak up to me and look me in the eye? And it's not that she's saying anything disrespectful, but the fact that you're looking at me and speaking, that's disrespectful. So to bring forth that whole cultural change does call for bringing in the entire community, let's say all the players to the table, all the partners. Yeah, powerful. I know that. So you started this in 2012. I'm not sure, was it in 2013, International Day of the Girl was when you were on the Today Show?
So I was on the Today Show in 2018.
2018.
So, and how I got to the Today Show is that I applied to be an Obama Africa leader, their first cohort. And so I was selected amongst tens of thousands. They only needed 200 young visionary Africans in the continent. So I made it to that list. And part of the conversations, when we had a conversation around girls' education, was us sharing our experiences, our work. And that's where the team at the Obama Foundation spotted me. And when they spotted me, they said, Monica, we're really interested in understanding your work. We are sending a team to your community to document this work. Honestly, if you don't believe in God, that was God.
That was God. Oh, yeah.
That was God just placing me in the right place at the right time. And they came, did the shoot in Uganda. And then Michelle Obama invited me to co-launch the Girls Opportunity Alliance together with her. And that's where the work of Gallup was documented. And that's when the world was like, wow, this is happening.
Yeah. It's funny because I couldn't remember exactly the year. I like to tell people, I said, all my years just come together as one now, the older I get there. It's like, so when was it? But yeah, it was 2018. And so on that stage, you had a couple of girls who was already doing quite well. I think, was there two girls with you, I believe? So two, or was it three?
So what happened was, on stage, I was with Jenna Bush, who was moderating the session.
Yes.
However, the footage from the community in Uganda was played on all the screens and all the stages. So it seemed like I came with my entire village and community on that stage.
Yeah. Where are they now? Where, with some of the girls, I know that some have gone on, they're in universities, they're doing different things, and some of them are working with you in the program in Uganda, correct?
Yes. We have about 3 girls who are working with us at Gallup Initiative Uganda as staff. Then this particular girl that was featured is now finishing her high school. So next year she'll be joining university. And that time when the documentary was done, she was in what we call elementary here, primary school. So it's been a journey of working with this girl and other girls in the program, because mentorship takes different stages. You can't just work with a girl 1 year and say you're done. Every age presents different challenges and opportunities.
Every age.
You have to journey with them.
Every age. So one of the incredible things about the Girl Up program is that it focuses on leadership development, as you stated earlier, and workforce skills for girls as well. Can you share with us why this holistic approach is so important in the empowerment of the journey for young girls? You've said it a little bit, but can you share just a little bit of it even more? Because what you have done, is really bring a whole community, the boys, the teachers, everyone, the parents, all together. And so how is this holistic approach even so important and has brought forth even more success?
Thank you. So just looking at why we really focus on leadership development
Yeah.
is if we are to fix or if we are to address issues that affect girls, women, or humanity, it's an issue of leadership.
Yeah.
It's an issue of a leadership crisis. So leadership development in all shapes and sizes is very important. And someone can't grow into becoming an adult without appreciating and acknowledging that every day you have to practice being a leader. So for us, the opportunity to work with adolescents right from age 9 and telling this girl that, you know what, when you're communicating, this is what you need to be aware of.
Yeah.
When you're engaging, this is what you need to, that's leadership, because leadership is lived. So our work is really to reinforce and tell them it is your, like you have to live through your leadership journey.
Yeah.
Every day presents different opportunities, but that's where the leadership journey comes. And if we can continue to strengthen and grow more leaders, we are going to have more women, more girls in different sectors directing policy, having really critical conversations that are going to fix most of the world's problems. We should not approach work from the level of just being receptive. We train our girls from a level of knowing that you're getting this information to be a mentor, to influence your family, to create change in your family. And that's why we focus on leadership development, taking them through what does it mean. How you live your life every day speaks a lot about your leadership. When there's an opportunity to represent your friends in a classroom, put up your hand, go for it. We cannot continue to wait for girls to become women and take them through a leadership course and tell them these are leadership skills. We live these skills every day. Can we groom our children to understand that leadership is lived every day? Can we encourage them to take on a leadership path? And one of the most exciting leadership retreats we've done for girls is what we call the Big Sisters Camp. So the Big Sisters Camp is a unique space. Just like adults love to go by the beach and reset, adolescents equally desire that and need that. So the Big Sisters Camp, when we work with girls throughout the year, of course, we go through different sessions around self-development, around sexual reproductive health rights, around understanding their rights as children, around igniting, a sense of business skills in them. After they've gone through that 1 year long program, the real intense mentorship starts. And that's part of the Big Sisters Network. So as part of the Big Sisters Network, these girls go through understanding leadership at a bigger level. They go through having exposure to other mentors beyond the team at Gallup. So we have some kind of intergenerational cross learnings that they're able to see if they aspire to be medical doctors. Can we bring medical doctors, have conversations and share experiences with them? These are the girls that take on the mentorship journey to the other girls because peers listen to each other. So can we ensure that they actually have the right information to guide the little sisters? And what we do uniquely is once a year, we also host what we call the Big Sisters Camp. So imagine in a program of over 2,500 girls a year, just selecting 200 girls, meaning those 200 girls are the girls who have gone above and beyond to be exemplary, to practice whatever it means to be a Gallup girl, and just bringing them in a place where they can retreat, connect, share ideas, and even help us as an institution appreciate what we should be focusing on is one of our most exciting spaces in terms of cultivating girls' leadership. So it's one of those that everyone, that even for the audience, I would interest you to take the journey to Uganda and experience what we call girls' leadership at work. Then for the other really around skilling for workforce development, again, if we are to have more young women take charge of their lives, address issues of violence, they need to have an income. And that's why we run this fashion and design house called Madrid Hub that makes nice, well-printed clothing. But also we do have digital literacy because we know the world is becoming a global village? Can we ensure that even if a girl didn't go through the formal path of education, she has skills such as digital literacy, one, to enhance her business, two, just to be aware of what's happening in the globe. And then most recently, we challenged ourselves and said, can we support girls who take on, predominantly male fields like mechanics? Can we support them with apprenticeships?
Mm-hmm.
So offering girls who take on automotive mechanics training with apprenticeships has been great. Because for most of the girls, they will go take on those subjects, but they do not have space to actually practice and be competitive for the job market. And that's what we are doing to try to, to narrow the gap, but also to send out a message that girls can equally take on STEM related fields and, professions.
Yeah. What I love what you're doing as well is that what you're creating right now in the present is really legacy work, because then they become women, and of course we start now with training the girls so as they move into, let's say, womanhood, they're working and they're still making those change, they're impacting change, they're in STEM, they're in fashion design, they're doctors, they're everything, because we are the backbone. Girls are the backbone of
Yes.
really creating that change. And so you're not just focused on now, today, current, but you're really also focused on future, your future focus, and creating that legacy. And that's what is so powerful. And you talk about the girls camp, which I will be there. And
Thank you.
oh, definitely. And
Thank you.
and I will be bringing a team. I've got two daughters. One is a physician. The other one, her degree is in media and production and all of that. They will be coming, and they're excited about coming. Why? Because they're givers. I love what you said, is that we just can't take in for ourselves, but we also, with what God has blessed us with, the skills and the divine things that he has put into us, we also have to be able to give that out, to serve others. It's not something what God gives us. And that's why your calling is so great. And sometimes it's very challenging, and sometimes it's very tiring, and it's all of these different things, because the calling is just never about you, is it?
No.
It's never about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always about serving others. It's always about bringing others up, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of all of this. I saw, and we were talking about it earlier, I saw where you posted on LinkedIn when you're on the plane, and everything just looks so glamorous and so great, but the work and the sacrifice, and it's not just a sacrifice for you, it's a sacrifice for your whole family. But just think about, if you didn't make the sacrifices, those girls that would not have been served. We are here to create a life. God has blessed us with a life, and part of our role is to give back. Yeah. So this isn't cheap. It costs.
It costs everything. I just want to share an experience that on this trip, I just looked at myself. My son is sitting his final elementary school exams, and I'm not around.
Yeah.
And that's when I said, God, use me. And use me, take care of my family, because this is, like you've said, it's a bigger calling. And you will not tell God that this time I have a family responsibility to take care of. It's calling, you have to get going. So again, that's why I wrote that post, just to remind people that there is just so much behind the scenes that needs to happen. There's just so much leadership within the self, so much sacrifice, so much perseverance for us to be able to serve humanity. And once you sign up to God's calling, you can't say, God, this time I'm not going. Then you're not being a servant. You're going to say, yes, God, wherever you take me, I will go. And for me, it was just a reflection of God, just to acknowledge that behind the scenes in this work, in this non-profit space, there's just so much that happens to leaders who are charged with that responsibility of keeping the work going. Because everyone in the team is looking up to looking up to me. Our girls are looking up to me. And so I better do what I need to do. But
Yeah.
again, it takes grace and it takes meeting nice, kind people along the journey that make this calling quite lighter. But it's definitely a tough journey, but a journey that I've chosen to take because I believe that one teacher helped raise and support me. And so God gives me this to be able to give back, and I'm giving back to millions
Yeah.
of girls in Uganda and beyond.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's powerful. So, Monica, share with us, or I like Queen Monica, right? I love it. Tell us, what are the needs right now? Like, how can the viewers who are listening, how could they support you? How could they support, let's say, the program, the Girl Up in Uganda program? How could they support?
One, they could support us by, encouraging us on our social media platforms, but also they could consider donating to our scholarship program. We have 700 girls who are being supported by Gallup, both in primary school and secondary school. And I was chatting with a friend here saying that secondary education is much more expensive. And yet that is the deal breaker for a girl to be able to get to university and be able to graduate and have, an income or an employment or start a life. So I would encourage viewers to support what we call our scholarship basket. It costs $300 for a girl to be in one girl to be in school in primary school the entire year, and it costs $500 for one girl to go through secondary school for 1 year. So it's really it's a big number, but we cannot lose these girls because we work with over 3,000 girls every year in our adolescent girls program. But the 700 girls are girls who have been vetted and found to be even more in need than the rest. And so if we do not do anything about it, imagine 700 girls not being able to continue with their education. So that would be the biggest for us, to support us to educate 700 girls so that we can have more leaders, more champions, more girls who can take up decision-making spaces. Yeah, so that's really our ask.
So let me repeat it. So it's $300 per girl to get through primary school
Yeah.
for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and then of course now y'all who are listening, especially if you're in the United States, that's a drop in the bucket, because if we wanted to send our girls, first of all, our public schools are, literally free. And then if they went to private school, it's not going to be $300 for the year. It's going to be way more than that. Like, right? Depending on the school you attend. And then for high school, as we call it, or secondary school, it would be $500, right?
Yes.
So to support in the scholarship program, how would they send the money? How would they get that to you?
So on our social media platforms, on our website, Gallup, www.gallupuganda.org, there is a donate button, and Gallup is registered as a 501c. So for our friends in the US, it's quite like it's easy to donate through our website. So reach out to our website, but also feel free to reach out to Dr. Esther. She'll make sure that the incomes come through. So I mean, she's our ambassador here in the US, so feel free to reach out to her, and those incomes will be able to come through.
Yeah, please do. And I have to tell y'all that, one of my goals is to bring Monica back so she can speak to many of you, because this is just something. So many people know, but many don't know. But, I have my women's empowerment. But one of the things I already started a few years ago was also a girls program. I called mine DNA, Design Naturally Amazing Teens. They're girls. And so one of the things that we did was here in the U.S. help build girls up and have conversations with them, give them a safe space and all of these different things so they could grow, because many of our girls experience so much they don't have, even in the US, not maybe to the extent as they do in the Girl Up program. So I guess, to make a long story short, I'm very much into, let's build these girls up so they can become powerful women as well. You know, let's
Absolutely.
give them the tools that they need. And so we're blessed so we can be a blessing to others. We can be a blessing to others. So I will definitely be posting it. Contact me if you're still not sure where to give and to donate. Please reach out to me. The next thing, Monica, just in our last, as we begin to close our conversation, and guys, I'll be talking about this a bit more. We'll be getting you even more information where you can connect. So fear not, you're going to get more information. One of the things that Monica also did, which is also dear to my heart, out of what she saw as a need. When I look at Monica, I look at a person who has truly sacrificed everything, her life. She sacrificed money, so many things. And so when she saw that women could not needed care, they've had these babies now, they've had children, and they really can't go to work because of the children. And so Monica founded Blossoming Minds Academy.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
To provide early childhood education and free, can I say again, free childcare services for mothers in low-income communities in Uganda. So talk to me a little bit about this. And then how does this initiative even more aligns with the broader mission of empowerment and economic opportunities for your
Thank you,
community?
Esther. Blossoming Minds Academy is so dear to my heart because when I look at just my life and this bigger calling, if I didn't have my mother take care of my son when I started this work and he was only 3 months, then probably I don't know what life would be for me. But really, the spirit of giving back, I just said there are so many mothers who cannot work. And I'm not talking about office jobs. I'm talking about daily jobs. Imagine a woman in a community that has to survive by doing laundry for another family. Imagine a woman that has to be a nanny for another family. So I'm really talking about the lowest income families, nothing about women who have jobs, nothing. I'm talking about the last mile
Yes,
communities.
yeah, yeah.
So I was born and raised in a slum. I've grown up in a slum. I only left the slum a year ago. So I've seen mothers that even those who, even in our gala program, so many women graduated with skills, but she will tell you she can't work because she has no one to leave that child with.
Mhm.
And we're talking about children who are 6 months to about 2.5, those are critical. That's a critical age that you can't even leave a child with a neighbor. And for me, the spirit of give back, in the spirit of serving God, in the spirit of showing the image of God to others, I told my mom, Mommy, could you please give me space in your house to be able to start up? And I think she looked at me and said, Not you again. Because girl up was birthed right in our house. She's like, Not again, Monica. I'm like, Mommy, I really need to support mothers. I began thinking of this 3 years ago. Last year, she told me, You have the space. I began renovating it. Long story short, we've been able to admit 21 kids. And we admit those children really based on so much due diligence to make sure that we take we support the right families, the right mothers. Everyone needs help, but for starters, that's what we do. But also in terms of sustaining the model, we made sure that those who are 3 and above start what we call like kindergarten 1. So we have a kindergarten 1 class, much
Yeah.
as we have the bigger number are those that are 6 months to about 2.5. And for me, it was really about if we are to transform economies, the issue of childcare needs to be given attention. If we are to transform, the literacy levels, the education levels for children, early childhood is one of those areas that we can't ignore anymore. So really the benefits are many. If we are to transform family livelihoods, parents need a safe space to be able to leave these children. And when I spoke to Esther this year, she was like, yes, I'm in, I'm in. And of course, the materials we received from Esther, you should see the children playing with the materials, the excitement, the parents. It's just a different vibe. It's a different energy. And imagine this center is right in a slum community. So
Yeah.
it's one thing that fills my heart. And it's one thing that I really look forward to growing to be able to at least serve 100 children every year.
Every year. That's powerful. That's powerful. So, Monica, you're doing so much for the community. You've got your center of excellence for the girls. You've got the camp. You've got, Girl Up. There's so much that you are doing, to bring awareness, to educate, to bring opportunity. And when I say awareness, you're bringing global awareness,
I
and
agree.
you've overcome so many barriers. You've helped girls overcome so many barriers. My
Yeah.
last question is, what do you do for you?
What I do for me is I love to take self-care breaks.
Good.
I love to take breaks, just having quiet time with God and just filling up my spiritual self, because whenever I'm filled spiritually, then I have the energy to take care of the other things. But I do love self-care. I love the day at the spa. That's what I do for myself. So when I travel, I also take time to really unplug and just be in this space of meditation and just thinking through my life and thinking through what else, you know, needs to be done, but just taking time to take care of me. That's what I do for myself.
Yeah, good, good. And I ask because it's so important as you're serving on a global stage.
Mhm.
Is so important that you take care of you so you can continue to serve. And I
Yes.
love it. I love your smile. I absolutely love, what you're doing. I can't wait to support you more and to get the information out. I know that it was a God thing that when I saw you on the Today Show.
Mhm.
I know that. Both my husband and I know that. And then, of course, the desire that we had in our hearts, like, just saying, oh, it was so good. Like, I'm gonna meet her. I'm gonna connect with her. I'd love to hear about this program or and connect. And then, life happens, but everything is in God's perfect timing.
Mhm.
Everything is in
Yes,
timing,
yes, yes.
and so, and, moving forward, here it is, what, 4 or 5 years later, 6 years later, I see
Mhm.
this woman, this person standing and say, why does she look familiar? And that's how whoa, it's God,
Yeah, it's
and then to like confirm it, I like to say, and to seal the deal because it was already sealed, but then to sit and to have the conversation, not just hearing about Girls Up, but then to hear about the early childhood program. It's like, oh yes, God, you knew all of this.
yes, yes. We're
You,
definitely destined to connect and
oh,
collaborate in so many ways.
in so many ways. And so I'm just so appreciative of it. I know that you're very busy. You're in the United States, you're traveling everywhere. And so everyone, I want you to make sure, and we will be posting information, that you go in and you support this program that's so needed in the Ugandan community, in where Monica's serving, Girl Up, and just so many other things that she's doing. We're going to put the website so not only you can see to donate, and it is, as Monica said, a tax deduction. So many of us need tax deductions, and so you can donate there, but you can also see the work that she's doing, and you could make a decision as to how much you want to get involved. And so that, and so I think that piece is just so important, that we just become a community, a people that just don't keep things to ourselves, but we learn how to give back and to serve. And so this is an excellent way to start. So again, make sure that you hit the website. Is there any last words that you have, Monica, to share with us before we complete this interview, this part of the interview? We'll be doing it again, but this part.
Yes. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting Dr. Esther. And I'll be back in the next segment of this show.
Yes, you will be back. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Monica. All right, everyone. So listen, we've got our quote for the week. We've got our quote for the week, and our quote is education. Want to make sure I get it right. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela said that. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And this is what Monica has done. She's using education as a weapon to change the world. And as we begin to wrap up, let's look at some expert insights. Let's look at some things that Monica has shared with us. And of course, I want you to begin to think about what are your key takeaways from what Monica spoke to us about and the work that she's doing, going beyond herself. It's a calling. It's something that she absolutely loved to do. And my question to you as we're looking at this, what is it that you can do? How can you support? How can you begin to give back to the Girls Up program and to other things? Part of our job as we walk here on this earth is not to take it in for ourselves, but really, how can we give back? What are those conversations that you can have with others who are ready to give back, who are ready to empower others, who are ready to say, I am here to educate and to create opportunities, right? So begin to really look at that. And so right now, let's just go into some mindfulness. Let's begin to do some self-reflection. And let's take a moment about what you can do and where you are right now. And as you're looking at yourself, as you are reflecting on the conversation that we just have, I want to encourage you to think about ways that you can contribute to creating opportunities for others in your own community, in Monica's community. And so here are some questions I want you to answer as you're jotting down in your journal. I want you to reflect on how can you use your skills and resources to create opportunities for others, especially girls and women to thrive. How can you do that? And then what can you do to support educational initiatives in your community or in the community of others? How can you globally impact and empower future generations? The Girl Up is one way that you can do that. And then how can you be intentional in helping break down barriers, intentional in helping break down barriers that prevent others from accessing education and opportunities for growth? How can you help break down barriers that can do that? So let's just take a few minutes and let's just reflect on that. Thank you so much for taking that time to do some self-reflection. We want to thank Monica so much for joining us today. And y'all, listen, I want to encourage you to get involved. Don't stay in your bubble, but really get involved. This has been a powerful conversation, and I'm just so honored that you joined me. Make sure that you connect to me on, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe, go into E360 TV. I have Today TV Network, which focuses on empowering women. This show is aired every Monday night at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it repeats also on Tuesday evenings Eastern Standard Time. It's streaming on other channels like Roku, I believe I said that right, and other channels. It will be on LinkedIn. It will be on Facebook. Make sure that you tune in. I cannot wait to see you. God bless you. Take care and live every day making sure that your values line up in creating your desired life. God bless you.